biggest names in music.
Oh, wow.
Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show. Okay.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
1FM 91.3. Good times, the greatest hits.
1, 2, 3.
Good morning, world. It is Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Therapy Tuesday. Good morning, Gerry.
Good morning! Today is a heavy topic.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. That's why I have my therapy room stress ball.
I've got my handkerchiefs.
I've got my sleeve.
But first, I must really thank the fans of 91.3 because they came by. So now I had version 1. Now I have version 2 with the big TV.
How about that, right? How about that? And we have a version as well.
Not only that, I've got my very own
Keyring
with my name on it. Can you see?
So nice.
Thank you, David and Manoj, who came by that day when they were in Orchard. So really love them. So thank you for my... Oh, you've got one too. And you've got the big
see,
one.
the beauty is it's a different version from yours, right? So everybody that he went around, passing these two, slightly
that's
different.
True.
Oh, really?
You see?
Yes, that's
there's
true.
the logo up here.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So it's unique.
It's unique to each person. Yeah.
Wow.
Well done.
Yeah, if you're listening to us on the radio, you can also watch us on thebigshow.tv on Facebook because we are live for the next hour.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so Gerry, why
Yes.
is it heavy this week? What are we talking about?
Today is about grief and grieving. And in my many years of working, I feel like a dinosaur. There are a lot of losses, and we talked a little bit about suicide. We didn't really go deep into it. So I thought I'll do an intro on something different because over the last couple of weeks, many parents, mothers came to me having to make decisions on whether to terminate a pregnancy or not. Wow. Yes, and it was so difficult. And I then on my Facebook feed, right, Chris Hansen wrote an article, a letter from a dad to his son. It took us 8 years to finally have you, our bouncy miracle baby. And you can find that article on the Asian Parent. And I asked his permission if I could just give him a mention, and he said yes. So thank you, Chris. And because when I read his article, I was so choked up. And the tears came down because I feel what he wrote. So those of you who have the opportunity, go read. It's just a 10-minute read, but very emotion-filled article about his journey towards being a parent. So I thought I wanted to talk about it. So that's why it's heavy, Glenn.
Luckily, we're familiar with this guy, this Chris Hansen.
Yes. So thank you, Chris. Yeah. And well, before we go into that, I was just going to look at the different types of losses. And I got a red card, so I think I have to go somewhere else. I cannot remember air or Facebook. So.
Just hold on. Yes. We're going to continue this conversation live on thebigshow.tv. That's our Facebook, 1FM 91.3, or our Facebook on thebigshow.tv. Meantime, here's Janet Jackson, Whoops Now, on 1FM 91.3.
And we're back. Okay.
Alrighty. So you were talking about that you're going to speak about grief and grieving, and I've yet to read the article, The Asian Parent, from The Asian Parent that this guy Chris wrote. But I can see the headline that it says it took your mommy and me 8 years to finally have our miracle baby. Tell us a little bit more about the article, because I feel that it's going to be linked to grief, that they did try having kids before that.
we're going to park his article till later.
Okay.
I'm a little bit avoidant as I drive. As I drove in today, I was like, okay, it's a very heavy topic. So let me go with what are losses first, okay? So losses is not typically just what we lose, like a person that we lose. It can be also losing your innocence. So rape victims have lost their innocence. It's been snatched away. Abuse victims, child abuse, their youths have been taken away. So they've lost their childhood. So there is loss. So sometimes when we deal with abuse or we deal with rape victim, we also grieve over some of these losses. A loss of companionship when you lose a spouse. Right? So I remember one of the, many years ago, this cleaning lady, she came one day and said, my husband passed away. And, we asked her I asked her how she was coping. And she said, the one thing that I really miss is to argue with him every night. And I was like, oh my gosh. So when they were alive, they were always arguing, right? But when husband passed away, that was one thing that she really missed. That was their way of communication, she said. Yeah. And then even those that are close to retiring or have retired, that whole loss of status, the purpose, the meaning can be very impactful for them. So that is also a loss. A loss of care. So the person that actually nudged me to talk about this is actually one of my clients who lost her mother. So the mother used to mothers care for us. So it's that loss of care, loss of love, loss of, that person that is beside you, loss of lifestyle. So many of us don't realize that, but I think those empty nesters would be able to identify. FD is nodding his head. Yeah. So it's that loss of the lifestyle that you once know, the busyness, the hustle and the bustle, shuttling everyone, trying to juggle everyone's schedule. So all these are losses. So if anyone wants to talk about any one of these, tell us, and then we can talk about it in the next few weeks. Yes, so that's losses. Do I have to talk about the article now?
She wants you to talk about the article when we go back on air, actually.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah, you don't have to, but yeah.
No.
You brought it up.
Yes. No, I'm just being naughty because, it is a very, a topic that sometimes we find it very hard to speak about, and I'm just echoing a lot of people. Why are they finding it so difficult? So today is really the voice for parents, the voice for grief, the voice for those that are still grieving.
I mean, I've never really seen loss as so many different types. When you broke it down to like youth, innocence, lifestyle, loss of care and loss of companionship and stuff like that. And even a loss of a career, like when you retire and stuff like that. Because you come out of your routine and your comfort zone and stuff, right?
Well, oddly enough, this and Glenn knows this, this is one of the reasons why I try to keep longevity in my career. Because I'm very worried about what will happen when I retire and whether I will go through grief. Worst yet, depression.
Right. I mean, even I felt the loss when I first came onto the show. Andre was here, right? And then when he had to leave, I too felt a little bit of a loss. The first time when he was not on the show, because he was touch point when I first came onto the show. So that is also a loss, but most losses are rather manageable. So most of us don't pay attention to the losses, but sometimes when we don't recognize it and we feel something, for example, transitions that we talk about. So the primary school students that go to secondary school, loss of the entire familiar environment that they grew up with, friends that they grew up with. We don't realize how much that loss has of an impact on these young little hearts, They said, "Oh, I'm never going to see my friends again, but I want to just stay here. Mommy, can I just stay here?" And we've heard that before.
And similar to moving countries or moving homes as well,
yes,
right?
Yes. Yes, so the expatriates, those that have come to Singapore, the loss of lifestyle. I remember one Australian couple, they were so comfortable back in their house, that their house had a nice little stream beside, they had a little boat beside their house, and then, they have the tractor going out.
Okay.
Okay, we're going back on air. Stand by. Madonna with Hung Up right here on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. We also live on thebigshow.tv. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. And today we're talking about grief. When do we grieve? What kind of losses are we talking about this morning? We were talking about it on thebigshow.tv. Perhaps maybe you would like to repeat it for our 1FM fans who are listening to us exclusively on the radio.
So the different types of losses, abuse victims, they lose their youth, their childhood, for the child abuse cases, the rape victims, the loss of innocence, the losing a parent, that loss of care, and concern. The loss of lifestyle, the expatriates, the empty nesters, loss of the whole status and career, the retirees, or if you've lost your job, the loss of a spouse, so loss of companionship. So just a few to name. But quite tough for us to deal with if we don't pay attention that these are actually losses for us.
And of course, people deal with losses very differently. Very differently.
Yeah, very differently.
Because you mentioned the different types of losses.
Exactly.
The loss of a parent or parents, the loss of one's innocence.
Yes.
Maybe one would think that the heaviest grief one would feel is when we lose a parent. But that might not be the case for some people.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, I've known people who've gone into major grief for having lost a pet.
A pet,
right.
I was going to say lots of pets
are
as
huge.
well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So losing a pet is also very difficult, especially that, is that unconditional love that the pet gives you. Yeah, that cannot be replaced, actually.
Yeah.
And I still believe that all dogs go to heaven.
Hey, they absolutely
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely.
They all go to the Rainbow Bridge.
That's where my Trixie is.
They all go to the Rainbow Bridge.
So what should someone who is suffering a prolonged heartbreak due to loss do?
I mean, talk to someone. So I want everyone to know that it is okay to talk about your grief. It is okay to talk about your pain, and let no one put your pain and grief down, so that it is a journey. It doesn't matter how long it is. To you, it is painful, and no one else knows how painful it is. Yeah. So talk about it.
But Gerry, it is important for us to grieve and not to hide it.
Yes.
Because we have a message on our Facebook page, and I'm going to read it.
Yes.
I just want your comment on it. I have never grieved for my 4 miscarriages. I was afraid I'd break. I had to stay strong for my eldest kids at the time. So any look of sad emotions would break me, my eldest kid, and my husband. So you fight grieving.
Don't fight. Don't fight. So this is one thing that I always remind anyone that is grieving. Do not fight. And especially for the parents out there, if you are grieving, can you imagine if you have to swallow all your grief and keep it all inside? Then your children will learn how to do that. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know what to do when they're hurting inside. And that's very dangerous.
But it's tough for, this is a mother that sent in a message on the Facebook page, right, Mark?
Yeah.
For the mother, because the mother already has a child, and then she has her husband, and she's had the 4 miscarriages, but to keep a brave face, right? What do you do if you break? Because the mother is usually the foundation of the entire family, right?
It is, we think we would break, but it's okay to cry. It is okay to acknowledge that you feel something for the little one that has gone up to heaven. And it's okay for that dear little one, because by not grieving openly, are you denying the little one's existence? Then, and I don't want that, I don't want the parent to have one more guilt onto themselves.
But that's the thing, you see. Some people just keep it to themselves because they don't want to burden anybody else.
That's what I'm saying.
So I mean, Angel has a point there, because deep down inside, a realist is going to be thinking, nobody cares. This is my problem, They might be there saying, I'm so sorry and all that, but after that, life goes on for them, and therefore maybe I should do the same. And you force yourself to deal with the heartache, to deal with the pain. And after a while, you just feel like, you're not even conscious.
You don't feel it anymore.
Yeah, you're not even conscious that it's bugging you. Okay, we'll continue to talk about this live on thebigshow.tv. It's time to play you something from Mr. Mister. This is Gerry. You're tuned in to The Big Show with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room.
I just want to carry on what we were just talking about, because this is one mother with a husband and a child.
Yeah.
What about grieving as a family? Because not only has she lost 4 babies, or teaching the current child how to grieve as well, and grieving with the husband, because the husband also has lost those children.
Yes. And everyone grieves differently. So, but if you don't provide that opportunity to do that, and you put up a facade, then life becomes really just a stage where you perform your duties and perform for the world to see. So I was really, really pleased and very excited when I saw Chris' article. He wrote that article about his 3 babies that he lost, and how difficult it was for his wife. Oh gosh!
Dear.
Oh, wow.
Gerry's first.
Tissue paper,
Gerry.
I have. Don't worry.
Chris, are you watching it now, Chris? See what you've done.
No, but
No, where his wife, I'll push on a little bit, where his wife actually lost the twins, which was the second pregnancy. And she saw blood flowing down, and it was heart-wrenching, because I cannot imagine what she was going through at that point in time, and she was in public, So read the article if you have the opportunity, and how difficult it was for them to then, have the completed pregnancy and a lovely boy.
I absolutely remember that moment. I remember, I was at Parkway Parade with Chris at that time.
Oh, wow.
No. As in, when he told me, he told me about it.
You see, Glenn and myself know Chris very, very well. So I think I know Chris maybe a little better than Glenn. So I know what the entire family unit went through through that time. And
Good morning to Diora as well.
Morning, Chris. He's watching.
Yeah. You watching, Chris?
Yeah.
Morning, Chris.
I told him, I asked permission from him. Thank you, Chris, for allowing us to chat about it also. Yeah, but when the article came up, I went, yes. He gave a voice. I need to borrow that voice. We all need to talk about the grief that, parents don't know, especially parents who are going through infertility, parents who have lost, have miscarriages, where who can grieve with them. Usually it's a very couple sort of grieving journey, and nobody else knows about the pregnancy. Nobody else knows. There's no real, sometimes there isn't even, a funeral. So like for the three little babies, I don't remember reading that there was a funeral even, so what do we do with that? Do we do with the memory of that little one, of the little ones that we have lost? Yeah.
You spoke about it being a collective grieving with couples and stuff like that. Now, I don't personally know anyone who's gone through a journey like Chris and his wife have, but a lot of stories I've read and movies that I've watched, although they're not always based on true stories, it's where the couples break up because they can't handle the loss. So how do couples work together better and not blame one another for a loss that may happen? And it may not be through like a miscarriage. It could be through an accident that they've lost a child, or through an illness and various other reasons. So how does a couple or a family work together?
Angel, you'll be happy to know that many of the couples I work with, the breakups are far and few in between. In fact, they seal their relationship stronger, and they work through it. They work through the pain. But of course, there are couples that do break up.
That's because they have help from you.
Okay, Gerry, a very old friend of mine, I think Glenn, Angel, we all know her. Hannes Hassi is watching us from Texas right now.
Morning, Hannes.
Hannes is in Dallas, and she says, I lost my brother in Singapore 2 days ago.
I'm
sorry to hear that.
Sorry for your loss.
And she says, I'm so far away. So how does she now deal with that?
It is very difficult. So we've got a few. That's why I thank all of you for allowing us to talk about the grief and grieving today. The COVID has split many families up. It's not North and South Korea anymore. It is the COVID that has split many family up, and sometimes a loved one passes away overseas. Or you are, in Singapore and someone is overseas, or you're overseas and someone passes away here. And you can't fly back on time because of all the quarantine and everything. So the grieving journey gets a bit displaced. I'm still journeying with a few of them. The rituals, the rituals get a bit displaced. They attempt to cope by using the Zoom platform to participate, to replicate what is overseas and what is local, and they do it in parallel. So that seems to have helped a little bit, not the greatest, and it's very painful. You can't touch, you can't hug your other relatives. It's a very isolating journey. Yeah. So my heart goes out to Hannes, is it?
Yes.
And yes. And please remember that your brother is always in your heart. They're never far away. Yeah.
And as we speak, we have many people in that situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many. So many.
Yep. Yeah. So difficult. This death and dying, grief and grieving, a very, very tough topic today. And, borrowing what Chris' voice, and there were a few mothers that had needed to make, or couples, but the mothers came, that needed to make decisions, whether to terminate their pregnancy midterm because of chromosomal issues. So because the doctors have not given very good prognosis for the little baby. And it is tough. So in therapy, we do not give advice. We don't tell you whether you should terminate or not. We walk through with you in a space that is non-judgmental and non-religious. So my space is non-religious. Yeah.
Yeah, Hannes has come back and said that what saved her was FaceTime. So she was able to be at the funeral during FaceTime. So she says she's at ease now because she was there in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've also got another one where someone has said they've heard. Oh, I tell you what, when we come back, I'll deal with this one on Facebook.
Stand by 1 in traffic, IFD.
Or on air, rather. Yeah.
Don't ever give up.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
Usual delays across the expressways, I can't tell you that much. We have a few areas to look out for. The PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down at Jalan Bahar entrance. Look out for that. That's going to slow you down. We have the PIE towards Tuas, an accident after Thompson Road exit. Congestion is to the CTE City exit. Avoid lanes 1 and 2. PIE towards Changi, an accident before Jalan Bahar. Avoid lanes 3, 4 and 5. Stay within the speed limit, please. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Grief is the price we pay for love.
For love. It is.
We've been hearing a lot about that
Yes.
the past few days with the passing of Prince Philip as well.
Yes.
Well, this morning on the show, we have Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room, and we are talking about grieving and and the different types of losses.
So Gerry, Roshini has come onto our Facebook page and said, I've heard of couples who name their child that they have lost and have a ceremony of sorts for their lost unborn child. Is this a way of getting closure? Is this a way of dealing with the grief? Is this a good thing to do?
Everyone grieves differently. So sometimes parents have already named the baby. So they give that baby a little bit of a ritual, and that's perfectly fine. You know, some choose not to name the baby. Some choose not to even look at the fetus when they deliver the baby, you know, and that's also fine. There's no one way to grieve. We should not dictate that you should do this or that to grieve for the baby or for anyone that we have lost. Some choose to keep quiet, and that's also okay. They just need to sit, you know. So one of the young teens who have lost, young adults that have lost the grandparent said, I just want to sit at grandma's room and be by myself. You know, but I get scolded for it. And I say, it's okay. Do you need me to talk to your parents? Yeah.
Gerry, just as you mentioned that we should not dictate how someone going through grief should behave or should feel, what do we say or what can we do if we are on this other side and sitting with someone or encountering someone who has gone through a very big loss?
If you don't know what to say, and you know, the best thing is don't say anything, really, but just be with the person. The presence is good enough. You know, bring them out for meals, bring them a meal. Oftentimes they don't have appetite to eat anything at all. You know, bring them a warm drink. That would be good enough. You know, just spend time with them. Encourage them to do small activities. Be active. So one of the couples that I've journeyed with, very, very privileged to journey with them. It was very difficult for them to make the decision to terminate their pregnancy because it was a very wanted child. So the couple came. They permitted me to talk about them because later on I'll show a photo that they took of my team, and she started a Chan photography. Yeah, so not really in memory of the baby, but because I think she was very down and her husband was encouraging her to do something.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. We are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. Thank you very much for tuning in to The Big Show. We continue with the music. Lighthouse Family is next with High on 1FM 91.3. Good morning.
Gerry, when people grieve, there are many regrets they have. I didn't do this for them. I didn't say this for them. I wasn't with them enough. How do you help people get over that? Because now you can't do anything for them. You can't say anything. You can't make up for that.
That's guilt as well.
But it's part of the grief process.
Yeah, I know. It's like you're grieving because you feel guilty. Or
Really?
you're feeling no, because I mean
Yes.
the stuff that he mentioned early on. You're feeling guilty, and at the same time you are grieving. That makes it
even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, the past is something that we don't want them to dwell on, right? But if
But
they want
easier
to
said than done, right?
Easier said than done, definitely. So if they want to communicate with, their dear ones, please write to them. Please speak out. Have a photo there. You're not going crazy if you talk to the photograph. Just like the daughter that lost the mom, she speaks to the photograph for a year or two. She was just every day, bye mom, hi mom, and was just speaking to the photograph about her day. Only daughter. So yeah, and the only parent has passed away, so she was very, very lonely. You're not going crazy. It is okay. I think what is really difficult are the memories that you want to create with them, the birthdays that cannot be celebrated, the graduations that cannot be attended, to the weddings that cannot be materialized. So all these are really tough for parents, or people that are going through the grieving process. The memories that cannot be created, that you've spoken about already, and is what do you do? So for the friends, please be sensitive and not ask them for every wedding or or blast it out that, oh, my child's graduated already. Let's be a little bit more sensitive.
And you're not just losing all that you've shared with that person, you're also losing all that you may have with that person in the future.
Exactly.
Which not a lot of people think of, right?
Exactly. So it is, the loss is very deep. So for those that think that you will get over it, or you think the other person will get over it in a year or two, please do not impose that timeline on any grieving person. Many years, a parent is still a parent. They still speak of the child in present tense, so they still grieve. Once a parent, always a parent. Once a daughter, always a daughter. So you don't relinquish the role just because the person is not present on the earthly world.
It's interesting, Gerry, because you're talking about this over a period of years. So grieving, is it just grieving, or do we grieve in stages?
There are stages. I mean, there's the 5 stages of grief. However, when we talk about grieving and loss, it is forever. It is forever. I mean, why Chris' article touched my heart so much, because now I'm going to share it publicly, is because I've lost one little one. Before I had my oldest boy, the completed pregnancy, and it was extremely tough. Being the first pregnancy, a very wanted baby, what was very tough was people saying, oh, it's very common. First pregnancies, to lose the first pregnancy is very common, Anyway, it's not a real one. It's
Oh, no. What?
So please be careful what you tell people. It is very difficult. I would share this because I think mothers will understand. You actually feel your body going through changes. You actually feel the baby coming out, even if everybody sees it as blood, you see it as baby.
Yeah, of course. Just a question. Were these comments coming from non-parents or parents as well?
Both.
Really?
Both.
Wow.
Yes, because just like how I was, so avoidant in the initial part of the show today, it is very difficult to wrap your head around it. It is very tough. Yeah, and my heart goes out to one of the mummies that came last week. And she said, I should get over it already. Hers was a midterm abortion, so midterm termination, and baby was not doing very well. But because it was so far in, she need to deliver the baby naturally.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, she had to go through the whole induction process, and she had to squat over the basin. She didn't realize that all these were impacting her. So the sight, the sound, the smell, the tactile, and what really hit her was when I asked, did you feel baby coming out?
Oh, no.
Yes. So sometimes our bodies react. So she's having a lot of infections and UTIs because, she didn't recognize that she was grieving and that, there's a lot of pain in the mother herself, a lot of guilt in the mother herself. So it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I never knew they handled midterm pregnancies like that. Is that a common thing?
Yes. So a lot of things if it is not, if it's very early in the pregnancy, they might not need to do that. They might not need to deliver the baby in such a manner. But a procedure still has to be done unless it's a missed abortion, which means that the baby comes out naturally, right? But this one was induced. So usually midterm termination, they have to induce
because it's
the
so
whole
far
process.
along, right?
Right. Okay, still on losses, Gerry, but moving away from miscarriages and abortions. What if someone has lost a loved one and is angry for whatever reason? So the person is grieving and the person is pissed off with the deceased. How does
seen this happen.
How does someone like that, get over it?
It's one of the stages of grief. It is very normal. Don't be alarmed. Don't for the people that are around, don't overreact. It's probably part of that whole grieving process. Permitting the grieving person to just vent would be very helpful as long as they're not doing anything dangerous to themselves or anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
So like putting a photo of the deceased up there and throwing darts at the at the face. I mean, if it works for some people. Okay. So one of the ladies who had lost her son to a road traffic accident. A few years later, she lost her husband to cancer. Yeah, she was, it was a very beautiful story. The couple were very loving, and husband passed away in her arms. And in the last moments, she said, "Go join our son."
Oh, wow. Gerry, you've spoken about depression and being sad, and Glenn just mentioned being angry. What other kinds of grieving have you seen that we may not know about?
Denial. So if you talk about the stages of grief, one of it is it can't be happening. I don't believe that's happening. I don't want to let go of the body. Let me hold on a little bit longer. Yeah. Wow. Yep. It is not easy.
Yeah.
It is not easy.
This really messes you up, man. It does mess people up.
It does.
This is real.
It does.
It does.
It's real.
Okay. We're going on air to the one traffic.
Okay, cool.
And recap a little bit. Stand by.
OneFM 91.3 traffic.
Usual delays across the expressways. The PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down at Jalan Bahar entrance. That's going to slow you down a wee bit. Also on the PIE towards Changi, an accident before Jalan Bahar. That one's quite bad. Avoid lanes 3, 4 and 5. My suggestion to you is to try and avoid that stretch of road completely. Stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
We're back on The Big Show and thebigshow.tv with Dr. Geraldine Tan. Julian Kho from sgCarMart is on standby. But right now, Geraldine, we've been talking about losses and grieving, for the past 40 minutes.
Yep.
Is there anything else you would like to say in conclusion?
Just don't make me cry, okay?
No. You choked out a few times, and I choked out a few times just now. Thank goodness, no tissues needed. But I suppose sometimes using a comfort object. Can you see this?
Yeah.
No.
It is a
Who's
little
that?
dog. It's a little dog. So I got it when I lost my dog many years ago. So comfort objects. If Sean can show, the photo with the little monkey and the alcohol. Okay, we don't.
Also.
Yeah.
We were just talking about an alcoholic monkey this morning.
We were, actually,
Yeah, we were.
I
Actually,
think-
there's a story out in northern India.
I think here you have the 3 cures for grief: the comfort object, the alcohol, and the cake.
Yes. So the rainbow cake So this photo belongs to the daughter that has lost her mom, a few years ago. And it was very tough, a journey for her. And this is during the mother's birthday. So when the mom passed away, I think in the first year, the mom actually loves rainbow cake. So that's the rainbow cake that you see there.
Right.
And alcohol is for the daughter, but then the monkey represents the mum.
Yeah.
So she brings the mum. She brings the little monkey everywhere, and even to her place of work. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Different ways.
Yes,
Okay.
different ways of kind of helping yourself. Photography was another one that I think you can show the big photo, like what we call the 全家福, but it looks like a Korean. We don't look like Korean superstars, but
You do?
yeah.
That could be a Korean drama poster. It could
looks
be.
like
Therapy room.
Yes, so this is my team, and Adri Chan Photography does a lot of family photography. Started after she lost her little one last year, and she's built up her portfolio quite nicely. Photography therapy. So last week we saw one photographer, and then this week we see another photographer also. So different ways that we can help ourselves. Yep. Yeah. And okay, just, if anyone needs a support group, SOS has support groups. If you've lost a child, the therapy room has healing hearts for mothers, only for mothers, exclusively for mothers who have lost children through suicide. And then there's child bereavement support groups out there, and the PIATA.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gerry. That was a tough topic to get
boy.
through.
It's a tough topic. Shall I give you a conclusion?
Yes, please.
Concluding. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak knits up overwrought heart and bids it break, by William Shakespeare, Macbeth. So talk about grief.
Thank you.
Will do, Jerry.
Thank you very much, Gerry. Thank you so
Take care.
much.
It was really
We'll
quite
see you.
awesome.
We'll see you next week again. Hi, Julian. Bye, Julian, again. Into your time again.
No, it's okay.
All right. Bye, Gerry. Take care. Oh boy.
That was quite something.
Yeah, she was pretty shaken.
Intense, yeah.
At the end of our Facebook Live today, I will tell you about my comfort toy when my brother passed away.
Okay. All right.
I'll
Hey,
tell you about that
let's
at
just
the
speak to Julian a little bit more right now, just to find out what he's going to be talking about, and then we'll continue on thebigshow.tv. Morning, Julian. Julian, of course, editor
morning, boys.
from SG
Morning,
Carmart.
guys.
Good morning, Julian. What are we
Morning.
talking about this morning?
Cyclists versus motorists.
Oh,
Good topic. Good topic. Good topic.
Yeah.
Who's winning? Who's winning right now?
Shall I do a poll?
I did a video recently, and I made a comment on the video.
Okay.
And the videographer just looked at me and he stopped recording and he just said, "I think you shouldn't say that."
Oh.
And I had to do a retake of the entire. Yeah.
Tell us what you said later when we go on the picture.
You can, right? I'm sure you can. All right, motorists, cyclists. If you've had a problem, with
each other,
yes, stay tuned because it's going to be very interesting, and we're going to be saying some things that we're not going to be saying on the radio.
Yeah,
live on thebigshow.tv. Up next, the script featuring Will I Am. Here's Hall of Fame on 1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits. Good morning. Well, very soon I'm going to be like Linda Blair.
It's
getting worse.
Because you moved your thing all over that side.
Well,
you know what we should do? We should move Glenn's golden mic this side, and I go sit there.
Yeah, because
then you have direct line of sight.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm comfortable here. Okay, so word just in as well. I mean, for those of you who haven't heard, tomorrow morning we're going to be having Gurmit Singh on the show because he's part of a dose of comedy 2, which will be at the Drama Centre from the 6th to the 8th of May. So we're going to find out about that. But here's something else that we're telling everybody. The following Wednesday, that's the 28th.
Yes.
The 28th, we're going to have the one and only Minister for Transport, Mr. Ong Yi Kang, on the show with us.
And he's going to be in the studio.
He's going to be playing his own music. He's going to take over.
Excellent.
He's going to take over. So go spread the word. Okay, but back to
to Julian. Poor thing, we're taking up so much of his time.
Motorists versus cyclists.
I think you should ask the Minister of Transport what he thinks. Cyclists or motorists?
Yes. Yes, I think so too.
Okay, so cyclists versus motorists, Julian. It's obviously a very big, debatable topic. Tell us what you have, and tell us what you said on that video, which you're not allowed to air.
Yeah. I know it's horrible. It just came out of my mouth because I probably meant it. But again, before I say it, I have to clear the air. I'm all for sharing roads.
Okay.
I'm all for sharing roads. Just don't be irresponsible. That's all I'm saying. I'm all for sharing roads, just don't be irresponsible. During the video, there was actually a cyclist in front of me, and I was just doing a recording, and I was just, being free and all that kinds of stuff. And I mentioned something along the lines of, I have to be careful because, there's a cyclist in front of me. I don't want to create trouble because who knows, he may actually swing in and out, and then I may actually, lose control, and I may actually, you know how sensitive cyclists can be these days.
Yeah.
And then when I said that sentence, how sensitive cyclists can be these days, the videographer just looked at me and he said, "Oh, I think you better not mention that."
No, that's
really
fine.
Nice
I think it's fine.
I think it was fine.
Yeah, I thought that.
No, but these days, because of how sensitive everything is, right?
Yeah.
No, but I think Julian, you brought it up. The key word here is sharing a road.
Yes.
Sharing goes both ways.
Yes. But I think I don't know. Is it inferiority complex? Is it because I'm riding? I'm for the cyclist. I mean, just because I'm riding a cyclist, I don't know. I feel like people should give way to me, or I feel smaller. I feel a little less secured. Is that it?
Well, you're less automatically. Nothing is protecting you on a bicycle, neither a motorbike, right? With a car, you have the whole car that's actually protecting you from any impact. So I would expect there would be a slight sense of insecurity if you're on a road where you don't feel safe, and you're sharing it with a car that can, with one little knock, hit you in the wrong way.
Of course.
There's no right way, obviously, but you know what I mean. But all it takes is a split second of a little tap, and you're done.
This has been going on for years and years and years. And I just want to say this because I have been talking about this for years and years, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't think it's a problem that will ever be solved, right? It will never be solved. But one thing I always say, as a driver, right, I'm always on the lookout for cyclists, right? Because they are smaller than us. And as Angel just mentioned, one knock and, there could be a very serious injury, maybe a fatality, right?
Yep.
So what we can do as motorists is just to look out for the cyclists or even motorcyclists for that matter, right? But accidents do happen. Yeah. So the problem right now, as Julian mentioned, many cyclists feel they have the right of way. And therefore this puts them in an even more vulnerable position.
With that attitude.
They can be screaming, shouting, cursing, swearing. One day they're going to get hit and they're going to die. So it does them absolutely no favors to be sensitive and to be cursing and swearing at cars and all that. Simply because, as Julian said, we all need to be sharing the roads, right? Yeah. I know of many responsible drivers in their cars who have been cursed and sworn at by cyclists. Yeah. And that doesn't help.
No,
because,
it doesn't,
because it's not like these cars are being, are driving irresponsibly. You know? It's the expectations from the cyclists these days, basically saying, look, the road is mine.
Yeah.
You have to look out for me.
I have a right to be here is the thought.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly that.
So, Julian, what is the ruling? Do bicycles 100% have to be on the road or can they be on the pavement?
No, they're supposed to be on the road because apparently they're no longer allowed on the pavement.
Okay.
But you can't have more than two riders side by side. You can't have more than two.
Well, I've seen many.
Side by side.
I've seen three abreast.
No, they do it all the time.
They take out the whole lane sometimes.
But you know what? What I think is good. I mean, you said there's not enough space and stuff like that. They are actually building dedicated tracks on main roads.
Yes.
They're slowly building them, and I think they want to build more of them. But he's laughing.
Ask the Minister of Transport on the 28th. Ask him.
We may just
What is the solution? What is the solution to this? Because, I know of a lot of drivers and they're very angry because just like Glenn's friends, right? I mean, a lot of drivers I know are being sworn at, they're being cursed at, and it's really not helping the situation. And they get angry themselves. I mean, of course, if somebody curses and swears at me, I'm going to be angry as well, right? But and the first thing I'm going to ask is, you know what, dude, I'm paying road tax. I'm paying insurance. Are you guys paying road tax?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Are you guys paying insurance? So it becomes a two-way thing. They have inferiority complex. They feel like they have the right to be on the road, which I don't disagree. And in return, we feel like, you know what, as drivers, are you guys paying road tax for this? Because I don't think so, man. But you're using the roads. And if you use it responsibly, I've got absolutely nothing to say. But it's because you guys feel like you have the right to be here. You use it irresponsibly. Yeah. You start swerving in and out. And I actually questioned a cyclist before, and he said, we swerve in and out so that we have more space in order for the cars, so that the cars will actually not get too close to them.
Yes. What?
So that's what they're doing, so that the cars will not be too close to them and they'll give them more space. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's fine. You can do whatever you want. Do what you want. Just don't be irresponsible.
No, but
swerving in and out is irresponsible.
That's irresponsible. No,
right?
That's irresponsible.
But I think we need to state here that these irresponsible, rude, confrontational cyclists are not the majority.
Hey, let me just tell you, they're not just confrontational. Some of them even kick cars.
Yes, that's what I mean by confrontational.
They kick, they hit the cars and all that. Hey, you touch my $300,000 car, I'll kill you.
No, but I think we need to state that this is not the majority of cyclists.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
it is the minority that's giving the entire cycling population a bad name.
Yeah.
There's a few bad apples,
Yeah, and you know how it is, right? When one bad apple does something, it appears on social media like disease. It's going to spread like cancer, and everybody will start thinking that all cyclists are like this. I've got a lot of cyclist friends. And then there are also drivers.
Yeah.
Genuine nice people. They don't have a problem. So
do you think, Julian, that drivers who are cyclists make for better cyclists who are just cyclists?
Ooh.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right, because it's what I said as well. I used to be a rider. I had 2 motorbikes, and I was just maybe I was a little bit reckless. I don't know. When I was young. I don't know. But when I became a driver, I became more wary. I became more conscious. If there are motorbikes coming, I tend to swerve a little bit in or out to give them way.
Right.
To give them more space. I tend to be a little bit more careful now. So I think Angel, you've got a good point. So maybe I don't know, but I mean, come on! I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that you shouldn't be irresponsible,
right? Yeah, because you're so vulnerable. They have to think of it that way. I am vulnerable. I need to look out for myself. I need to be careful because if I get hit, I might lose my life.
That's why I always stand by the fact of what I said before, that even cyclists and pedestrians need to have the basic rules of theory of on the road usage. Your blind spots, your don't cross in front of someone who's trying to turn, all these little things, don't swerve out and stuff like that. Because as Julian said, as a motorbike rider before who became a driver after, you then thought of the motorbike riders and how they would think as well.
We've got some comments coming through on our Facebook page that are quite interesting. Nirwan says, for example, I think the thing that Nirwan's trying to get at is we have hot-tempered drivers and we need patience, because Nirwan says it won't kill a motorist to wait, but it might kill a cyclist if you don't.
Of course.
That's a good one.
That's one. Yep. Travis came through and said something else, and I'm waiting to see what everybody has to say on this comment. Travis said, the "are you paying road tax" argument is stupid because cyclists may be drivers too.
Yeah, that's true.
My take on that is, when you're a driver and you're paying road tax, you're a driver.
Yeah.
When you're a cyclist, you ain't paying road tax.
Different.
But I wouldn't put it that way either, but which is why I don't think we should use that, that argument.
It's a bad argument. It's a bad argument, generally.
Yeah, but I think it'll always be ongoing. It will never end. People will always be arguing about cyclists or motorists, who should give way, who has a right of way. But bottom line is this: just share the roads, because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to everyone. Just share the roads. It's not a big deal. I think what was his name Irwan FD, the first guy who commented.
Yeah.
I think that was absolutely correct. It doesn't kill to wait, because I am a horrible driver on the road. I have to admit, I'm horrible. I probably have very little patience on the road. It brings out the worst of me, because I cannot understand why people don't signal their intentions. I don't know why people are so inconsiderate. They don't say thank you. They don't just raise their hands and just say thank you when they come in. It's such an easy gesture, but they can't do it. And that just gets to me. That irritates, annoys me so much that my wife just looks at me and goes, "You have to calm down."
But that doesn't make you a bad driver. That makes you a good driver.
I guess
you're
I
one
don't
of
know.
You're one of the few that actually feels that you should use your indicator and you should check your blind spot and you should say thank you.
Bottom line is, just share the roads. Share the roads.
This is so interesting because the guys know this. I don't know whether you do. I took a very long walk over the weekend through the rail corridor, and you have pedestrians and cyclists, slightly different from cars. But the pedestrians and the cyclists are so disciplined. They are so disciplined. The pedestrians are all on one side. The cyclists are all on the other. The cyclist comes past and they go bike, 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 and everybody moves. It works perfectly. Why can't we do this on the roads?
Because they won't be able to hear the cyclists saying bike, bike, bike in the car.
It's about knowing where you should be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Are you saying the motorists are the troublemakers?
I am saying there is a minority of cyclists who are troublemakers, but there's also this minority of drivers who are horrendously impatient and will not change. So there's fault on both sides.
There is, yeah.
No, I don't think cyclists are troublemakers.
Yes.
I think cyclists just feel like they're entitled, to cycling on the roads as much as
which is a fair entitlement.
A motorist.
Fair entitlement.
But I don't know whether that should be the way they should be thinking. Yeah. Because as I said, right, if you go on the roads fearless, absolutely fearless, something is going to happen.
You're right.
You know, especially
You're right.
here in Singapore, because everyone's in a hurry. Everyone's in a hurry. Everyone is impatient, and you know you can't get people to change for a cyclist. That is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's some countries in the
Unfortunately.
world where there's more road to cycle on.
Yeah.
You know, there are more patient people because their lives are not as stressed out,
they don't have
stressful.
places to
You
get
know,
to
so
quickly.
so it's a little different here in this country. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna echo what
My
Glenn
life
said
is
as well.
stressful, man. I've got 2 kids.
What were you going to say, Sean?
I was gonna say I don't think the issue is a cyclist versus car thing. I think the issue is a human versus human thing.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
That is true.
You're not a
Yeah.
kind human. You're not a kind
Yeah.
human. So be kinder.
There you
Actually,
go.
Sean should
Well
tell
done,
us some
Sean.
stories. He's been a motorcyclist for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty safe, so a bit different.
No,
Like,
but do you
my
get bullied?
I don't get bullied because I'm like half the time behind cars and stuff like that. So I don't.
Yeah.
He doesn't give himself a
swerve,
chance to get bullied.
so
Yeah.
much. But I do know friends who are bullies and who have been bullies.
Right.
Bullied.
Being bullied, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes
Right,
it's not
right,
about
right.
how safe you are, no, Sean. You can be the
Yes, yes,
safest
yes.
person in the world. Someone else hits you, you know, knock on wood.
Also, because
Yep.
I come to work at 5 in the morning, so like,
There's no one
nobody
around.
on the road,
This is true.
So
This is
I
true.
keep on telling Sean, get a damn car, lah.
Julian, hook me up,
Yeah.
lah. sgCarMart, these
Yeah.
legs, baby, put me on the roof.
He's looking for a
I'm just
Maserati,
gonna-
Julian.
I'm just gonna come out. I'm just gonna come out and tell you, don't waste money. Just our public transportation is
Yeah.
so efficient. Don't waste money on a car. Just take the MRT, take the bus. You're gonna be
Yes.
less stressed. You're gonna be less angry. You're gonna be less. I don't know.
Until you smell the bus, then you think.
Oh my
different.
goodness! Yeah, some of these buses, yeah,
Yeah.
they need a shower. Seriously,
Yeah.
That's
On the
terrible.
inside.
Oh,
Disinfected with a flamethrower.
inside, yes.
See,
I
Julian,
swear.
if you can hook him up with a little car or something like
Yeah.
that.
Small one, right?
Small one,
Tiny
that's
one.
right.
This
Yeah.
tiny.
You know, a little Lotus will do.
Like a Fiat lah, Picanto. I also happy, you know.
A Fiat 500 or something.
I'll keep a lookout. I'll keep a lookout. Probably an Austin Mini or like a Volkswagen Beetle Mini.
Sounds just
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with my
Sean,
That'll be very
give,
cool.
give Julian a call later. Give him your budget, and he'll help you out.
big tasty and a small mini. There you
Anytime. Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Sell me, baby, sell me.
If the editor of SgCarMart can't help you out, nobody can.
That is true.
go. All right, thank you so much, Julian. That was so much fun.
Anytime. You guys have a good week. I'll see you guys next week. Yes.
All right. Take care,
Alrighty.
Julian.
Bye bye.
Take care, guys.
Okay,
Ciao.
That's the editor of sgCarMart, Julian Kho. And, a good time to remind all our motorists on the roads to look out for cyclists and motorcyclists, you know.
Patience.
And,
Pedestrians.
and if you're a cyclist and you're listening to us right now, not while you're cycling, but, you know, you're driving your car or you're at home, you cycle for recreation, you know, do be extra careful
Yeah. Yeah.
on
I
the
think
roads.
So, with that put to rest, I did say I was going to tell you about my comfort toy.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Hey,
you
when did
guys-
you say, I don't remember this.
Just now, lah.
Just now.
This was from half
Anyway.
an hour ago.
So Gerry was talking about when you grieve,
Yeah.
you have a comfort toy. So Glenn knows my brother passed away a while
Yes.
ago, and I was in Australia for 5 days, and it was the strangest thing. The house he stayed in was his wife, his daughter, another daughter had moved out, so it was wife, daughter, and him, and the dog. And the dog, for the dog, my brother was his life. So when my brother passed away and I walked through the door, the dog just went, mail. And I could not get rid of this dog. It followed me like a shadow.
you were the man of the house.
I was the man of the house. So much so that every night when I went to bed, the dog would come and sleep on my chest.
Do you and your brother look alike?
No, not
Really?
at all. I
Okay.
mean, he's 280 pounds. He's a, I'm a 90-pound weakling next to him. But yeah, this dog became my comfort toy for the 5 days that I was there,
Oh.
and actually helped me deal with the loss.
Right.
So I would go through the days with all the tears and whatever that would happen, but at night I could sleep like a baby because I was hugging this dog.
Companionship.
Yeah. So it really was quite something.
And that's why everyone loves dogs.
I'm sure you spoke to
You
the
know?
dog as well.
Yes, I
right?
did. Yeah.
It's
You
called
know?
an emotional therapy pet.
Yes, yeah. They do have that, right?
I was
Yeah.
just talking to someone the other day. I'm not saying that your brother's
No,
dog
no.
is not a good dog or
No,
whatever.
no.
What I'm saying is dogs in general,
Yeah.
right? they're so different. You know, they're such beautiful animals. Even cats can't compare. You know, I was just talking to someone the other day who has a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
And was telling me this.
There's nothing like
he
a dog,
gets comfort from his dog.
Yeah.
You know, but he wishes that his cat would give him that same warmth.
Yeah, no, cats are not known for
But it's
that.
different, you
Cats
see.
are not known for
It's
that,
very different.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying here is that, you see, you don't get that from your rabbits, right?
That
No,
is true.
you don't.
You should
don't.
get a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're a dog person. You're not a rabbit person.
No,
no?
but I love my rabbit.
No, why you he
I
likes
love
his
my
rabbits?
rabbit.
But I want him to get a dog also.
Rabbits
This guy
do
used
for
to keep
dinner.
a Great Dane before. Now he's
Wow,
keeping a
nice.
rabbit.
Horse in his
Nice.
stable.
Nice. I
had
love
a
Great
horse
Danes.
too, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to share
Eat
that
the
story.
rabbits, lah.
So,
I was just saying
There.
rabbits too,
There.
right?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding when I say that.
Basic.
See,
She
Goodness,
wasn't
he's
kidding.
kidding.
She said rabbit stew.
Yeah, I know.
She said rabbit stew.
Terrible.
Fight,
And you're a
fight,
vegan.
fight.
Yeah.
Rabbit
so,
stew.
So you don't believe whatever I say when it comes to eating meat. Glenn's the one that said cook it.
A lot of finger pointing
But
there.
I'm an animal lover.
Oh.
Okay, so I like rabbits
Yes.
as well.
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
true.
And this is a meat-free week for me. So
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's
It
meat
is.
free.
I had
to
green
help.
dot yesterday.
Hey,
So
well
what do you
done.
have, like the rendang or
I had
noodles?
I had the regular vegetable set with rice, with
Oh, with
brown
rice,
rice
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. And then I ordered the tofu on the
the
side.
nuggets, the crispy tofu nuggets.
No,
Oh.
that's Jean's favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm over that. This is actual tofu.
Okay.
You know, with like chicken rice chili. You know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so really good. And I also ordered the fish fingers.
Is that new?
Yeah, I think it's a konjaku fish.
I don't think I've
But
tried
there's
that.
no-
or whatever.
there's no
Very
fish,
good.
right?
With
No,
tartar sauce.
it's not fish. It's vegetarian.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
a vegetarian
yeah,
place.
vegetarian.
Yeah.
But they call it fish fingers.
Yeah, because
Yes.
it emulates
Looks
fish.
like- oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
emulates
yeah,
fish.
yeah.
Then
And
they
then-
have rendang as well, which is made of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Tastes
Yeah.
exactly like
Hey, rendang mushroom sounds
Yeah,
damn good.
They use lion's mane.
Lion's mane
So
mushroom.
good. You've never eaten at Green Dot?
I have, but I've never had the rendang.
Have the rendang. The rendang is like their crowd favorite.
But too rich for me.
Wow.
That's
yeah,
a bit rich.
I mean, if you're okay just to
the
try,
sauce.
it's really, really
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah.
By the way, we have a message for Glenn on our Facebook page from
Okay.
Debster Ong.
Hey, Debster!
Hello,
Oh no, she's gonna kill me.
Debbie.
She's
Wait,
a
wait.
cat person.
Yeah, exactly. She goes,
Oh God.
hey, some cats can feel your grief, really.
Okay, peace.
Peace, no more already.
She'll hammer me at. Love you, Debster. Okay, so thank you very much for watching thebigshow.tv. Share the video, please.
And
Have a wonderful day.
Follow us on Instagram, thebigshow.tv as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.